Globally inspired, for sure. From everywhere as far as Southeast Asia, Japan, to Italy, France, Spain, and then, of course, Portland, Oregon. My mom was a big influence, still is, on my culinary career. I remember her being in the kitchen a lot, cooking. There was always family meals were a big deal. Sunday especially was like big Italian night. She cooked all day, usually like starting with Saturday, going into Sunday. Everybody in the family was like required to be there. So it was like sit down at the, it's like the beginning or end of your week. So it was like sit down, talk about your week, talk about your day, what's going on. We'd sit down and just enjoy whatever food she had. So a lot of spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna, whatever, beef tongue, whatever she was making for the week. So it was a big deal, and it was a big thing, I think, for me to see her spending so much time creating all this stuff in the kitchen, and then spending so much time cooking that I think it kind of wore off on me to where I wanted to get in the kitchen and help her. So she taught me how to make little things when I was little, like starting with how to make French toast in the morning, and then moving up into bigger things, like how to make polenta with her, and she would do this very Italian thing where she'd make polenta for dinner, and then she would refrigerate it overnight, and then cut slabs of it off, and then fry it, put an egg on it in the morning for breakfast with some marinara on it. So it's pretty good. Yeah, she did a really good job on it. It was a recipe that's been in our family for a long time. She got it from her mom, and then I don't know where it started with from there, from my grandmother, but it just kind of morphed into what she did, and I think she really took the time to perfect it. She, I don't know, just it was something she didn't make like that often because they were like labor intensive. It was either that or her lasagna, but like special occasions, I definitely remember having her lasagna, having the spaghetti and meatballs. And it's something that stuck with me so much. It's what I remember about my family, and being so having family be such a big part of me. It's like something I want to express to everybody that comes in here. It's like this is, I want people to be happy. I want people to smile when they have our food, and I want them to see how creative we are and how much fun we're having that goes into like making the food. It was like a natural trend, I think, that the kitchen crew really pushed me to like put this on the menu. All right, so I moved out here from Washington, D.C. when I was like 23, and my grandmother had moved out here with my grandfather when I was young, and my sisters and I used to come to Oregon when we were kids for like the summertime. So it's like I grew up down in the summers, like down in Southern Oregon, cooking like in the summertime with my grandmother. And when I got older, I wanted to come back to Oregon, and got to Portland and kind of bumped around, wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I dropped out of college, and I was working in a restaurant as a dishwasher. I saw the cooks and saw what they were creating. I saw a lot of passion in what they were doing, and it made me think about my mom, and the passion that she put into it. And one thing just led to another. I wanted to get out of the dish pit, and I wanted to start cooking, so I just took the next step and started cooking. And then it just like the passion just took me over, and like one thing led to another. And I started to really apply myself in the kitchen. I didn't go to culinary school, and one of my old chefs had basically, I got into the New England Culinary Institute, and I took a practical, and I passed the practical exam, so I basically passed out of the first year of school, and I put my notice in and I was getting ready to go, and he like talked me out of it basically, and was like, what you need to do is apply yourself. He told me to like basically buy the book from the Culinary Institute of America, which I did. I read it all the way through, and when I was finished working with him, he was like, what you need to do is go find the best chef in Portland to work for. And that's how I ended up with Vitaly. And then I was there for 10 years. Man, he taught me a lot. He still is my mentor. He taught me a lot about food, but he taught me a lot about how to be a leader in the kitchen. And he's a good human being. And I think I was really fortunate to be around somebody with the climate you hear about in kitchens of like chefs yelling and throwing plates and all this stuff, and it was like he's not like that at all. He's not a yeller. He's strict and he's disciplined, but it's like that kind of environment for me, like I really like fell in, became like at home there. you know, and I made it my home, and he, you know, treated me like a family member. So it was, you know, it was very good to be in my family. He was always there for us, you know, no matter what was going on. He was always somebody who was there as a friend for me also, as well as a teacher. So, you know, I think that the style of food now that we do is, you know, the French technique that I learned from him plays a huge part in what we do here. Even though, like, for my personal influences, I see a lot. There's always that French technique that's always there. People want to talk about things like Iron Chef, or, you know, the TV stuff, or going to New York City, the James Beard Awards, you know, and for me, you know, while that was an outstanding part of what we did, some of the dinners that we did, though, at Paley's, like cooking for Elaine Sayak, who's the old chef from Le Cirque, like from way back in the day, like some of these French legends. We did a French Master Chef dinner there once that was pretty insane, and you know, with a lot of French Master Chefs that live in the United States now, and it was just really, it transformed who I am as a cook. You know, it's funny, I think a lot about the fact that I feel like I operate like he's right behind me, just from all those years at Paley's, even though he gave me the reins to do what it was that I did. You know, I'd been so taught by him that I feel like the creativity, like the nimbleness of creating things on a daily basis, or going into the walk-in to see what we have, to be inspired, to constantly be creating, is, I think, the biggest thing that we bring here, is just that enthusiasm and the joy of, like, being so nimble on your feet that you create things on a daily basis. Things may morph a little bit as you work through the week. A dish that's the dish today is probably not going to be the same exact dish that you have next week, as we perfect our technique and work at what we're doing, but also get creative with the ingredients that are coming in from the farmers and seeing what's available and morphing. You understand what I mean? It's just, it's a constant evolution. It's not like something's set and then we take our eyes off, but it's something that's, everything is always in constant motion. You know what I mean? So it's just always maintaining that movement forward. And he taught me all of that. And I think that that's what now I'm in turn teaching the cooks that are here. I try to always have, even when things are going like bad, is to, you know, to be able to have a sense of humor, to be able to laugh, and understand that while we want to learn from our mistakes, you know, not to take them too seriously. It's not the end of the world. You know, we strive to be as perfect as we can be, but there's only a limit to how perfect things are going to be on a given day. And it's just about knowing that, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. You know, you're not going to get fired for making a mistake, because ultimately, sometimes making that mistake will teach you something that's, you know, what not to do next time, or sometimes some of the best things come out of the mistakes, like, oh, hey, check out what happened, you know. But it's just, you know, I don't know. It's a thing about just not thinking it's the end of the world when mistakes happen. You know, I was really bad at balance for a while, for sure. It was something that was really hard for me as a person to try to differentiate between the time that I needed to spend at work and the time I needed to spend at home. And there's definitely times that I regret. There's things that I missed, and I think you could probably talk to any chef out there. There's basketball games you missed, or soccer games, or, you know, doctor visits, you know, whatever, school conferences, stuff like that. I've missed all of that. And I think with my getting a little bit, I'm 48 now, so getting a little bit older, what I've really strived in starting here in the last couple of years is working for a work-life balance. And that's knowing that we have great people that we work with. I feel like I've hired the best crew that we've had so far is here right now today with us, and trusting that they're going to get the job done just as well without me that they do when I'm here as well. And that makes me feel good. You know, I want to feel good when I'm here, but I want to feel great when I'm away also. Trying to stay present in their lives and everything that they're going through. And having my daughter now, who just moved out of the house and is living on her own and has her life going and all of those, and understanding that, you know, I think now more than ever it's really important for her that she sees that I make that time for her still, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had plenty of really great times when she was a kid also, but it's, you know, important that she sees with this change in my philosophy that I'm there with her also, you know, as she goes up. So, you know, I used to be super into music, and I'm not so much anymore, and it kind of bothers me. that I'm not, and we have definite playlists. So it's like getting back into music is something that I've been really thinking a lot about lately, actually. And I kind of, when I come in, I kind of have my own music playlist that I like to get into. So a lot of old, like Miles Davis, there's a album that he put out called Sketches of Spain that I like to put on when I'm here alone. And I like the music that he does because it's so creative, and I feel like I hope that part of like that creativity comes through the music and into me when I'm prepping out for the day. I'm thinking about the different dishes and things that we're doing, because I feel like I got the chance to see him perform when I was younger. I went to school to study classical piano when I was younger, which totally did not work out. But I got the chance to see him play, and like knowing the songs that he did, and then going out on stage and he played completely different versions of those songs, and I was like, I think about that a lot, and the creativity that he came out, and it just seemed very effortless that he was able to take the song and to go someplace completely different and come back, you know. And it's like, that's what I want to do with the food that we're doing, and I think it just settles into obsessing about creativity. I think two of our strengths that I'd like to focus on are the creativity that we have, like the things that I've been talking about, also and our technique, and that's really something that working with Vitaly really taught me, and it's what, you know, I'm trying to mold these guys into as well. Is we're very creative and we're very fluid. We're always moving forward, but at the same time, our technique is like rock solid. We're not cutting corners. We're always doing things how we feel the best way to do them. Obviously, as different chefs are always going to tell you that things are different, but I think for us, the technique that we believe in, the systems that we believe in, that we're following through with those, and we're adhering to all of those things like without a fault while moving forward.
So last question. At the end of the day, what makes you happy?
Two things. Being able to come in here and spend the time with my work family, and going home at the end of the night and spending the time with my wife, and recapping the day, and spending a few moments with my son at night, right before he goes to bed. It's like, that's with both of the boys, it's like invaluable.